world are occurring because those who are in positions of leadership haven't first led themselves. And this creates a very, very unstable situation. Once there was a king and he came to see a sage. And so he came into the hermitage, and being somewhat proud, he looked at the sage and he said, "Who are you?" The sage detected his pride and he looked back at the king and he said, "I'm a king." He said, "Really?" The king looked at the sage and he said, "If you're a king, where are your armies?" The sage looked back at the king. Titikshava karunika surida sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shanta sadhava sadhubhushana. He looked at the king and he said, "I don't need any armies because I don't have any enemies." The king looked at the sage and he said, if you're a king, where is your kingdom?" The sage looked back at the king and said, "Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasagira nikhala shvapyavastasu jivan mukta saujate." He said, "I'm completely absorbed, mind, body and word, in serving the Supreme Lord. I'm not actually living in this kingdom. I'm living jivan mukta in another plane of reality beyond time and space. I'm living in the eternal abode of the Lord." The king looked at the sage, is like, "I'm not going to win here, you know." He said, "If you're a king, where is your treasury?" The sage looked back at the king. "Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadikam tatha yasmin stito na dukhena gurunapi vichalyate." He said, "Since I've been absorbed in transcendental consciousness, I'm so fulfilled. Yam labdva, I've gained the greatest thing. I don't need anything else." He looked at the king. He said, "The richest person is not the one who has the most, it's the one who needs the least." And then the king looked at the sage and said, "If you're a king, what mission are you on? What are you trying to conquer?" And then the sage looked at the king and said, "Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita sitoshna sukhadusheshu tatamana pamanoyaha." He said, "What am I trying to conquer? I'm trying to conquer my mind. I'm trying to conquer my senses. I'm trying to conquer my lust, anger, my greed, my pride." He looked at the king, he said, "I'm trying to conquer the heart of Krishna." And in that moment, the king realized that every single external achievement that he prided himself on was indicative of something within himself that he was missing. And therefore the king looked at the sage and said, "Yes,